Have you ever wondered if numbers could actually predict the future? Well, today we're diving into a fascinating numerological forecast for the year 2026. It claims to predict everything from how the stock market will behave to even your own personal luck. Let's see what the numbers have to say. Whoa, okay, so the analysis gets straight to the point, doesn't it? It compares 2026 to a Wheel of Fortune and even a game of Russian roulette. That paints a picture of a year with incredibly high stakes, huge risks, and, outcomes that are almost impossible to predict. It's a really powerful metaphor, right? But what does it actually mean for us in practical terms? How is this high-stakes game going to play out in the economy, on the world stage, and maybe even in our own lives? That's exactly what we're about to break down. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with a number that defines 2026, then see how it shakes up the market. We'll look at which sectors are set to do well and even get a guide for your personal fortune. We'll also cover predictions for things like gold and Bitcoin before we wrap up with a look at a pretty critical global deadline. The entire forecast, and I mean everything, really hinges on one single number. See, when you add up the digits of 2026, that's 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6, you get the number 10. And according to this analysis, that one number is the key to the whole year. Now, get this, because this is where it gets kind of wild. The analysis claims that even how you write the year makes a difference. If you write out the full 2026, it adds up to 10, which is linked to the sun, a symbol of life, of positive energy. But if you just shorten it to 26, you get the number 8. Which is tied to Saturn, representing delays and obstacles. So the advice, always write out the full year to tap into that positive solar power. So let's break down this number 10 a little more. It's got this powerful duality built right into it. The 1 symbolizes a hero, while the 0, well, it represents a 0. It's this built-in hero or zero conflict that's expected to fuel all the volatility for the year, this constant push and pull between amazing success and sudden failure. Okay, so how does this idea of hero and zero actually translate to the real world? Well, we're going to see its most dramatic impact in the predictions for the stock market. This is really where that whole Wheel of Fortune idea comes to life. The hero 1 can spark these sudden, out-of-nowhere rallies that just shoot up. But just when you think things are great, that 0-0 can step in and trigger an equally shocking and swift downturn. It's this constant threat of sharp, unpredictable swings that's really going to define the market in 2026. So, after all that chaos, what's the final verdict? Well, the forecast suggests that even with that wild ride, the Indian markets specifically are predicted to end the year on a positive note, in the green. So it's going to be a turbulent journey, for sure, but it looks like the destination is a pretty good one. Okay, so with a positive outlook overall, the next big question is, where are the opportunities? Let's drill down into the specific sectors that are predicted to really shine in 2026. The forecast points to 3 main growth areas. First, you've got your future-focused stuff, tech and energy. We're talking everything from startups and solar to AI, robotics, and even quantum computing. Second, those foundational industries like manufacturing and health are set for a really strong year, especially in engineering and biotech. And finally, and this is interesting, sectors built on knowledge and service, like education, consulting, and even spirituality, are all poised to do really well. We've looked at the big economic picture, but now let's bring it down to a personal level. How can you use these numerological ideas to your own advantage? Well, the forecast actually gives us a pretty practical guide. This is where it gets really hands-on. To align with the year's solar energy, you might want to use colors like yellow, bronze, and gold. And get this, if your birth date adds up to a 1, 2, 4, or 7, like the 1st, 11th, 16th, or 22nd of the month, you could be in for a really favorable year. And when it comes to money decisions, the analysis suggests getting advice from people whose numbers are 1, 3, 5, or 6. All right, let's zoom in on a few key assets that a lot of us watch pretty closely. The precious metals, gold and silver, and of course, the biggest name in crypto, Bitcoin. Now, what's cool here is that this isn't just a one-year forecast. It's more like a multi-year strategy. In 2026, the prediction is for gold prices to rise and for Bitcoin to make a strong comeback. The advice for silver is to buy it on any dips. But the real payoff, it seems, comes later. 2028 is marked as the year to take your profits on gold, and 2029 is supposedly going to be a massive year for silver returns.
The forecast also zooms out to the global stage, and it offers a really specific prediction about India's international relationships.
Okay, so this is a very specific, time-sensitive prediction. The analysis points to this critical window for the India-US trade deal, saying it needs to be finalized before August 15th, 2026. And the reason? After that date, India enters its 80th year of independence, which numerologically is an 8-year, and that's linked to Saturn and all those potential delays we talked about. The analysis also suggests we might see better relations between India and China during this period.
And so that brings us full circle. In a year that's been described as a wheel of fortune, one defined by these crazy, unpredictable highs and lows, its heroes and its zeros, the final question this whole analysis leaves us with is a simple one. How will you play your hand?